Okay, so my name is Sky, and this is my idea for the skills for my MMO idea. Uh, Now, for those of you familiar, I've mentioned before you have a very simple set of skills. There are no classes in my MMO idea. It's just you have your one character, you have a finite set of hit points, and that doesn't really change. Your hit points is like stays at 100. So how do you mess around with it? How do you interact with other characters? You have six simple skills: attack, defend. I apologize for the the quality. Uh, Tracking, or I'm also thinking calling it sight. Uh, Technical or engineering is the other way I'm thinking of calling it. Medicine and management, or also think about calling it leadership. So six simple skills, and the idea is that to increase any of these skills by a 1 point at the beginning, it costs 1 experience point. To increase it to level 2, costs 2 experience points. To increase to level 3, costs 4 experience points, and so on. And that's just a rough idea to begin with. So it's going to exponentially increase to the point that it's just not worth it to increase these skills by anymore because it just costs so much. So what you can then start doing is like specifying your skill or focusing it, I guess is another way you can describe it. So you start with attack. Now, let's say I want to develop my attack skill as a sword. So from attack you have two branches, unarmed and armed. From armed you have a couple different branches. Small weapons like a rock or a dagger, medium-sized weapons, big weapons like a spear or long sword, or like a two-handed sword, a claymore, missile weapons like a bow and arrow or a sling. So going from the medium, which would be about the size of a sword normally, you then go, okay, is it a blunt weapon or a sharp weapon? And this is something that can, it's up in the air, but so I'm thinking go to sharp, and then you decide is it a one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon? And then from there, you decide, okay, so it's a sword, or I can choose axe. So that is, it, basically. That is your attack skill. Um, so at any point, if like say you wanted to develop your two-handed skill with a certain weapon, and there was like no skill listed, so you could suggest a skill. That's something else I'll mention somewhere else. Now, so with this idea, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. So 6 points, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. So okay, so when you do attack, or when you attack some guy, that's 6 points of damage you're going to do. I'm kind of thinking of an idea that if you add another point to this, it would multiply with the skill above it. So say you had 3 points here and 2 points here, that would be 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just one idea. Alright, so with that basic idea in mind, now let's think about, okay, so what sort of skill can I have against an opponent? So let's say my guy is armed with a shield. So my guy, or the guy I'm fighting, is armed. He has a medium-sized object in his hand. It's a blunt object, and it's a shield. And because I have the size of it, I don't need to specify what size of the shield is. Like I said, just a rough idea of how I'm thinking you can approach it. So now, let's say I am equipped with a sword, and I'm fighting a guy with a shield. So based on that, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of damage to a guy with a shield using a sword. I have to be using a medium-sized one-handed sword in order for the skill to be effective. And the guy I'm fighting has to be using a medium-sized shield for my attack skill to be effective. But otherwise, the skills I have coming from my end, and the skills that the enemy's going to have, on his end, is going to determine the outcome. So that's how I'm thinking it all work out.